All right, we are HOTTOGO.
Oh, yeah.
So much life to catch up on. What a
Oh,
week.
right.
We've had
Wow.
so much time since the last time we've spoken. A lot's happened in the world.
So much.
Um, the Eagles are the champs. Yo, Philadelphia. Go Birds. EGL.
E
ESTTO.
S
Let's get
S
hot.
ELGSES, whatever it is.
As a Philly mayor once said,
Right.
dude, what's happening in Philly? I mean, how many people have died celebrating?
Well, I actually,
Not
what's
more than
funny?
one, probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Well, someone died from the NFC Championship game because
Whoa, jeez,
a
that's really hardcore.
Temple University student climbed a pole, fell off it, and died.
They didn't grease the polls for the NFC champ. They got to start doing it now. They got to start doing
I
it in week
guess
one.
right. I guess. But imagine like that's how you go is because the Eagles won an NFC championship. Like what?
So yeah, oh, because they won the Super Bowl. No, just a different playoff game. Yeah,
Different other
they
playoff
made it to
game.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Um. And then I literally searched Philly news the morning after. So yesterday morning, Monday morning, I searched the Philly news and before Super Bowl celebration stuff came up, there was an article saying 2 people were shot and killed. But the best is it didn't have anything to do with the Super Bowl. So like, I wonder how it felt for those 2 people to get shot in like normal generic Philly gang violence.
The
Do you
regular
think they
Philly.
were glad they got to see that second Super Bowl happen hours before their death?
Yeah, I like to think that they did.
I like to, I like to think they ended on a good note.
Yeah.
That's nice that they at least got to see that.
I always wanted to see him win 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime.
That's a very weird
Unless it was their
specific
first.
request.
I know gang violence in Philly is pretty crazy, but was there like a 5-year-old gang member?
No, I don't believe so. No,
tragic.
I feel like that would have stuck out. So I'm gonna guess both
Yeah.
people were over the age of 18.
At least they wouldn't have been in school. I could say that.
Right. Right.
Not. Man, I won money on it, so that's good. It was a
Same.
blow. It was a very unexciting game, honestly.
And that's why you bet.
Unless you love the Eagles.
That's why you
Unless love the
gamble.
Eagles.
Either
Yeah.
you're an Eagles fan or you gamble. But if there was not gambling, that Super Bowl would have been pretty awful to watch. Not as bad, still not as bad as Rams Patriots a few years ago. That was terrible to watch.
Like
that was
14-7 or 3
yeah,
or whatever.
no, yeah, I think it was 13-3 or something. Like that was
Yeah.
a bad Super Bowl to watch. But yeah, betting clearly solves the problem. So making money always makes it better.
And I have a story of 2 Super Bowls, but we can get into it. And I was in Boston, so people were repping. People probably loved
Sure.
that Super Bowl, that 13-3.
Ugh.
The only greasy pole they're dying on is Tom Brady's Huang. Is it greasy? Probably dry as fuck. I like to I like to imagine that Tom Brady's dick always looks like whatever the hair is on his head. So like whenever he had the Caesar or sort of like he had that, or now it's like parted it's like but it's smooth, you know.
Remember long hair Tom Brady? Before guys like Aaron Rodgers and stuff and like Justin
like, you
Herbert
could
was
barely
doing
see
it.
his
Tom
wiener.
Brady, long-haired Brady, like I feel like it was after. Actually, you know what? I don't even remember when long hair Brady happened. Maybe like after the first round of Super Bowls, after
Yeah, it
his
was
first.
like his metamorphosis
3-pack?
into like
Yeah.
yeah. Um, fuck, dude, I don't even know where. There's like, I, there's a few stories.
Okay.
Um, we get into the Super Bowl stuff. Why don't I start out with how my week started, and then because it ends with the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we
That
knew I was
makes
going to
sense.
Boston. You had made
Hmm.
recommendations. We talked about it. So a week ago, or a week and a half ago, whatever. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before.
Hmm.
Um, I was like, I hadn't talked to my buddy Jordan in a while, and he's like a big Bruins fan. I feel like I helped get him into it. But I know he's like always. He and his wife have always like gotten seats that were close, and I was like, is it worth? Let's do a little quick. Like, I mean, talking about a quick 30-minute. Hey, let's jump on Fortnite. I got to ask you some questions. Let me. I haven't
I
bought my
like
tickets
that.
for this thing yet.
I like that. It's not let me give you a call. It's let's hop
Yeah,
on Fortnite,
yeah,
which
yeah.
has a chat
My
function, and that's how we'll converse.
Yeah. No, my phone doesn't work in the car. I couldn't possibly on my commute ever do that. That would be
Stupid
stupid.
is, stupid does, sir.
Yeah. But we haven't caught up too much. But I was like, hey, I know you guys have done this. Like, you're in Colorado. Like, you've gone to the Avalanche game. You sat behind the net. Is it worth it? And then he's like, what do you? I was like, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going to Boston. Like next week. I bought these tickets like a week ago. It's like crazy, like short
Yeah.
notice. And now I don't know what tickets to get. Then he was like, "Well, I'm on a redeployment at my work." So he works at a bank, but he's like, "I haven't worked since December, and they're paying me through the end of February till they find me something else." Like, let me see. Hold on. Let me go see. Like 1 second. He's like, as we're playing Fortnite, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go." And I was like, "What?
What?
What? What a bro!" And it's like I had thought about like um I thought about like when I was ordering it to be like I should invite Jordan to do this, but I'm like it's 2 weeks away and it's Super Bowl weekend. Like I feel like he and his wife do shit, and it's like it's a thing. But apparently no, his wife Heather, a sweetheart, wanted him to do something, get out of the house. Apparently,
Go leave.
dude, and that pumped me up so. It's such a great bro move. I mean, I don't even consider myself or him a bro, but it was just like, what a move. I mean, obviously you got to be not working, but still getting paid to not work, kind of
That
a
helps.
deal.
What a delightful
Yeah.
situation to be in.
Like, yeah, he's like, oh, no, I'll go. Yeah, yeah. So this is my buddy that I met in Austin. We used to golf a lot, do our orphan Thanksgivings together. But got into the Bruins. We used to drive to the Dallas Stars Bruins games every year. But that dude, that night, he was like, I'll go. I was like, that's fucking, like, I was fine going alone, but when he was like, I'm going, I was like, dude, let's fucking go. The fun part was I had already booked the hotel. It's a little spot called the Citizen M, right at the garden, like right at it.
You.
And I sent you guys the pictures with the fantasy football title belt in front of it. Great view of downtown, and
Sure.
yeah, and I mean, seconds away from the TD Garden. They do a weird thing. It's like a Danish company, and every room is the same. So when I realized he was coming, I was like, well, I will switch from the extra large king bed that I had booked to get two queen beds so that we don't accidentally slip into each other's dick holes. You know how it
Sure.
goes as normal? Yeah.
Naturally.
Um,
Right.
and then I was like, okay, called them. No, all of our rooms are the same, the exact same square footage, the exact same design, like the exact same everything. I was like, oh, neat. Cool.
Oh, the Dutch.
But, yeah, yeah. I was like, it's good for
Weird.
Europe. It's good for you.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't
So he
have
was like,
options. That's what Americans like,
yeah.
not having options.
So he was like, how much do I owe for the hotel? And I was like, no, that's okay. You know what? Nothing. I don't. I wouldn't. I couldn't charge you for this. I wouldn't even know how to charge you for what we're about to experience. Yeah. And it's basically um, it's a pretty narrow room. It looks like if you got an apartment in New York City, you walk in, the bathroom, the toilet, and the shower are basically in one enclosed, clouded window space.
Okay.
And then there's the bed, and it's against the window, so you can't walk around.
I
Like
noticed
it,
that. I
yeah,
noticed from
yeah.
I'm like, this looks compact.
It is, but a beautiful view. I mean, they definitely kill it with the view. Like it's a great spot if you're a single guy or if you have a family of three. But if you're two strapping lads that
Why
are
a
trying to
family
figure
of
out your
three?
way,
Where does the third human go?
well, I mean, it is a gigantic bed. So here, in the interest of being lazy, like that's the layout.
Wow. That is
So
a
pretty sweet.
bed. The bed is the room.
Yeah. And then in front of that is the shower and toilet combination. So what they do is basically like a hospital room because the toilet and the shower, again, inside of a clouded glass structure, but
Yeah.
it's definitely very sexy. Like if you wanted to watch your partner in there showering, you could see them through the cloudy glass and it would be very sexy because they have night lights in there. Everything's run by an iPad at the table that you can change the lighting. You have to use the remote for the TV, the windows, the
The
blinds go up and
shades.
down from
Yeah.
that. But fortunately, they have a apron or whatever that you can like draw across so that if you don't want to watch your friend poop, you don't have to. So, and there
I
was
was gonna
plenty
say,
of, but
man, this is a great setup for like two guys
it is.
traveling together. This is a great setup.
Yeah. So what we did is we negotiated the bed. We figured out like we would go the other direction so that we could each, if you weren't
Okay.
looking, the
So
bed
you'd add
set
an
up so
exit
that
strategy.
yeah, the way the bed was set up, one person would have to climb over the other because there's no room at the foot of the bed or at the head of the bed to get around.
No.
To like, well, let's just
No.
go the other way. We'll go perpendicular to the way the bed's
On
set
a
up.
king that's viable.
Yeah, and he's a little bit taller than me, so his tootsies might have been hanging off. But the also there's the only bedding on there. They had a fitted sheet and one blanket. I was like, this cannot happen. You can't do this. Like, it's like, so I definitely had to order the other blanket. But it's a cool hotel. Like you go up, you go immediately in. There's like nothing there. You have to like go up to the fourth floor, which seems like a secret, but it's open to the public. And it's actually like a lounge with a bar. And people like do work there and shit. It's like their whole philosophy thing is like their whole philosophy is like people can just hang out there. Like the public can just go there and shit like that. And it was a cool spot. I'll say that. So, we end up. He shows up. We put a little. They have this little pillow that looks like a Pokemon or the character from Unravel. If you've ever played that indie Switch game, so he put that in between us when we slept at night. So we again didn't actually touch tongues.
Right.
We had to do it on purpose. Um, but really, like great skyline view, very beautiful. Yeah, he shows up. It was like the greatest 48 hours I've ever. I mean, it was so because I got there. I had to get up at 3 in the morning Saturday morning. Got to the airport.
Whew.
Yeah, and it was the whole day. It was so long that I remember on Sunday, the next day, I was talking to Jordan. I was like, "Oh man, it's crazy." When I walked here Friday, I did like a big walk a couple days ago, and he's like, "No, it was yesterday." And I was like, "Oh fuck, that was." It's been like that kind of a weekend. But I did good. I did not enjoy any beverages on the way in the
Okay.
plane or until he got there. He got there like right at 2 o'clock on the game. The Bruins versus Vegas Knights game started at 3:30. So as soon as he got there, he brought his Pink Whitney shots. I had brought some Deep Eddy shots.
Oh man,
Right
Pink
before the game,
Whitney
like,
for the hockey game.
I know, yeah. The old spitting chicklets,
Yeah.
barstool chip. Um, we went to the game. It was great, super fun. Had great seats. We're like in the eighth row, kind of behind the Vegas bench. Unfortunately, the Bruins lost, which it was a perfect Bruins game. The way they've been playing all year, up 3-1.
I was
You
just
know,
gonna say
just
up 3-1
hold
and
that.
then just womp
Yeah,
lost 4-3.
scored in like the last minute of the second period and last minute of the third period. Whatever. We're like, hey, it sucks. We had a good time. It was 90% of a fun game. We enjoyed it. Had a gigantic piece of pizza. Also, have you seen this yet? I don't know if Wells Fargo has this or not, like the arena. So we go into this. There's like a beer market or a drink market. You walk into and they're like, "Oh, you got to put your card here." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, I will, but like, why? And we walk in and like, "Oh, now whatever you get, whenever you walk out, it just charges you." So you're basically in a little mini convenience store with a bunch of coolers of different drinks like seltzers, beers, like whatever margaritas, all that shit. And whenever you walk out, that's how it charges you. It's like kind of the
So give your card to someone at the beginning when you walk into the
No,
convenience
you
store?
pay for it right away, and it tracks that somehow. I don't know. Should I check my statement?
I don't think you know how it works. And in any way, shape, or form, you're having a hard time even telling me how this set up. Who asked you for a card?
No, you have to scan it on like the entry. So I use my Apple Pay watch. So as long as you have like one of those, like a tap thing,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it must track your geography, and then when you go out
Okay.
with it,
But
it's like
then,
attached to you. It's sort of like the Apple Pay or like Wegmans is starting to fuck around with this shit too.
but
Like a little
wait,
bit of like the
I'm not done. Stop going past this. I need to understand it. I can't just let it hang. All right? So you do like a tap to pay when you enter the convenience store. Then is there like, do you grab this? You obviously grab the stuff personally from the coolers, whatever you want.
yeah.
Then are you just leave?
Well, I mean, you go through sort of like a turnstile type thing. So I don't know how it does it, but
So it doesn't.
does it
There's no scanning of a barcode or anything like that.
on the way out. No.
That's so weird. Yeah, I don't like that because I need to understand it. I would have to ask the person the technology, but I'm guessing the person who asks you to tap your card knows nothing about the technology, so that'd be useless to ask them.
Well, I didn't get it. I was like, is this like, wait, do I order now and then go pick it up? He's like, no, you tap, and then once you leave, it just charges you for whatever you grab. And I'm like, I trust this. I trust this.
Yeah.
Forever.
Well, right, because
Yeah.
what's the worst that's going to happen is you don't get charged for things you did take. So what is it?
Yeah.
Like the worst case scenario is for them, not for you.
Yeah. Or I get massively overcharged. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Dispute the charges, bro.
I know that's
You've
true.
done
You're
that
right.
before.
You're right. And the best part is when you get out of there, there's a security guard there. Basically, he's like, there must be some weird law in Massachusetts where it's like, you're not allowed to go into there because it's functionally like treated like a bar or a stadium drink. So it's like, you better not walk out of the building with that, like unopened. So they were like, hey, you gotta open that here. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
no, oh shoot, dang it,
You got me.
I was
You got me.
gonna-
I wanted to buy the overpriced, literally the most expensive beer in the city of Boston is here. What advantage would I have to buy this and walk out with it?
Yeah, some kid paid me $1,000 to get him a Limerita out of the Boston
From the garden. Yep.
Yeah.
Horrible transaction.
Yeah, just really epically brutal. But yeah, mostly fun game. We did some pinball that night. I did not go to comedy show, but we like, because that night is supposed to, all of a sudden it was supposed to snow like 8 inches. I think it happened everywhere, like in the Northeast. Like it was supposed to like Saturday night. So we like went to play some pinball. We went to this bar. It was called Versus. Great bar name. And actually, I kind of like this bar. We walked in there, and it was like $5 cover, and I was like, oh fuck. And they got pinball games, so we'll pay it, I guess. It sucks. That's lame.
you,
And they got
okay.
arcade games and shit, and I was like, we're already here. We already walked about. You go in there. They're like, where's the quarter machines, or where do you get the card for this stuff? Turns out that $5 gets you unlimited play at every game. And I was like, this is too cheap. This is too cheap. This is too cheap.
Oh no, we've gone the opposite way. Now I'll never leave.
I know.
Shit.
Not only that, so you got a pretty cool layout, pretty small space, but they had like 6 pinball tables, like some of the most classic arcade games, and some shooters like Time Crisis. They had skee ball, like that kind of deal. But at the bar, if you're sitting at the bar, they have 3 different TVs, and you can play whatever console you want on them. So if you and your friends are there, you can do either PlayStation games, Switch games. Like some people are playing Mario Kart at the bar, some people are playing Mortal Kombat at the bar. Like, and I was like, dude, if I lived here, this would be my jam. You know what? Because you can't play video games at home and drink at all. Not for $5. It's a steal. But great concept. We had pizza again. That dude, we just kept crushed. Dude, when was the last time you had, besides when when we visited, like pizza 3 days in a row or 2.5 days, whatever it was, dude? It was quite. And again, we went to this place at like 11 o'clock. I've been up since 3. We were shit faced. Again, walking around, and we walk in. It's like, hey, can we get a large, just whatever pizza? And it's like, no large, only extra large, no more, no large, no small size. And I was like, oh no.
Oh, bummer.
Jesus.
That's not what a drunk person wants to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry, we only have more pizza.
Yeah, we only have extra pizza for you to take today. It was like, oh, good God. And as we walked out, the snow was falling. The salt trucks were out in Boston. It was just a lot of the bars were packed. Yeah, around that area, the TD Garden, it's like weird because it's not like there's no residential spots around there. It's like a lot of downtown's like a lot of businesses, tourist hotels, the Garden, and then just like bars and shit. That's when we started thinking about like the Super Bowl. What are we gonna do for the Super Bowl tomorrow? And it was kind of like we started looking at some options, and most of the places were like everybody charges covers. I was like, holy shit! I was like, for some reason in my mind, I was like, oh, these bars are like nobody's gonna come here to like watch the Super Bowl at the bar. I was like,
not the bar in big cities.
Not only that, like the bar across the street from us, that's like a Bruins bar. Apparently, in football season, is the official Philadelphia Eagles bar.
Oh,
like,
there you go.
Yeah,
like, but that was part. That's where you should have gone.
Well, I would have, except for their website said opening at 2 p.m. First come, first serve kind of thing with a cover, like a $30 cover.
Oh,
and
wow.
we looked out, like I was like, I'm not going to line up at 1:30 to spend money to then like whatever. So we just played it by ear.
So like, did a lot of bars have like food? I'm assuming like they had more like buffet style fooderies.
Yeah, let me guess. Here, what would you have done? The closest bar, like immediately downstairs to us, it's called Banners, I think, and it was $75 cover. Their screens though were awesome. It's like a movie theater size screen.
Okay.
And you would get unlimited wings for it for the whole time you were there, but pay for your drinks.
Depends what the drinks are, like what the drink cost is and stuff. That's if there was like a drink special that was reasonable, it would be a one-time consideration. It would be a consideration. A tough one. But like if you're like, okay, if I just go there for lunch and dinner and everything, like if my point of the bet, like if I'm gonna be eating wings
how much heartburn
all day, yeah, like I'm gonna make them deal with
wouldn't even
me.
been all day. It would have been like show up at 5, and then like that kind of thing.
I mean, wings are expensive, man. I could probably
they are expensive.
I could
In this
eat
economy,
$75 worth of wings, I think, these days.
Yeah. We did not opt for that.
I assume,
but I did give it a good thought. I gave it a good consideration. You know, like,
as you should.
Yeah, because it was right there, plus the TV screen and all that shit. So we just went up for a walk around Boston. We were just like, let the world invite us to the Super Bowl. Let's fucking go and just see where we want to. Like, worst case scenario, we'll hop on we'll do a little crisscross applesauce on our little corner bed, throw it up on the thing. Because I didn't even know, like the bar at the Citizen M, I was like, I don't even know if I remember it had a TV or not or something like that. And I was like, so let's just go walk around, do the city thing, walk in our boots that we brought because it had snowed. Mind you, we had gone to brunch that morning at like 11 and already started sipping again. So we were like, we just kept it going. Like, it's like, I don't think I've ever drank so much in a weekend, but didn't feel super terrible about it. Not emotionally, just physically. Physically, I did not feel terrible. It was nice. You just keep it going. And
hair of the dog.
Yeah, it did. And it works. And so we're like, as we're walking back to the hotel around like 4:35, we're like really keeping an eye out on like all the where might we go, like because everything's apparently got a cover charge. And then we walk by this spot called the Championship Bar or something like that, or Greatest Bar. That's what it's called. I'm like, let's go there.
Wow,
And
What a sign.
Great, yeah. Yeah, it's like, dude, I believe that. You can't just say that. You can't
Okay,
just
that
say
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we look on the floor. It's like you can see through, and it's like, oh my god, they got a really good sized TV at the bar, and like 12 other TVs, and there's like several open tables. As we go in there, it's like $10 cover. I'm like, great, fine. It's like 5 o'clock. We're like an hour and a half ahead of it. Let's go in. Perfect. Pay the $10, and they're like, okay, third or fourth floor. You can head up. And I was like, oh no. It's like, what have we done? It's like, you should tell people that before you make them pay the thing, because this looks real nice. What we just saw here, I
Right.
want to
So
be
you're
in that.
you're not letting me stay. I can't stay here, is what you're telling me. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they were telling us. And then we go up to, I guess it's like a typical. I mean, it's awesome sport. Number Boston. Kudos to you on having just a great sports city. People genuinely care. I mean, it's much like Philly too. Like everybody, I mean, but people are just passionate. It's like plastered everywhere, like sports memories from every sport and all. So you're going up, and as I'm going up the third floor, I see just a mural of when the Bruins came back. They were down 4-1 to the Maple Leafs in 2013 in Game 7, and they have like each goal that was scored. It was like, oh, I took it. I was like, good. All right, I'm gonna $10 well worth it. Yeah. So we got. Guess I don't even know what floor we're on. I was like, Jordan, what floor are we on? I was like, I don't know, 3. And I was like, we walk in, and they're like, hey, where do we go? And it's like, okay, well, these seats are all reserved, but if you want to, it was like a bar table behind a pillar. It's like, you can stand here. And I was like, what? You can stand behind the pillar. It's like, it doesn't even have seats. It's a bar. It's a high top bar table. It's like, I would sit there because then I could at least like move around and, like, go, I could see the game. It's like, let's go down to the third floor, which ends up being a big island bar. We get a great seat where if we're looking at the bar, it's a tiny TV, but if you turn around, we got a big old TV right in our face. Great spot. Start hitting the high noons and the foods, and the party just starts rolling in. Boston again, sports town. Very passionate sports women. I gotta say, like, I think we were outnumbered. I think it was like clearly outnumbered by women who love Tom Brady schlong, or not. They might like Taylor Swift schlong. I don't know, but it was like we were clearly outnumbered, and a lot. But they all wear like their Patriots hat and gear, and I was like, that's cool because they're bad right now, and you guys are still repping it.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, it is. It's like. So yeah, we watched the game there. A good time. That's halftime number 1. Halftime number 1. The only half number 1. And we were like, we'll probably stay to the first half, depending on how it goes. It's like, I don't know how long we want to be out here. I don't want to pay my tab at the end of the game. That's where I am now. That's where I am.
Right? Yeah. I need a half a game's worth of tab.
Yeah, that, and I don't want to be like just chasing it down like at the end, like
Right.
2 minutes through. I mean, then so here we go. Here's a little social test.
Okay.
So we're starting to check out, and I was like, we have pretty good seats here. And I sort of was joking. I was like, I bet somebody would pay us for these seats, because there's like a bunch of people standing behind us and stuff. We're like at bar seats, but we're like right in front of like TVs with a clear view. And I was like, who do we give these? This is like a thing. We got
Right.
access.
You can bestow your seat upon someone or charge
like,
someone. Okay.
Yeah. And so as soon as we start paying our tab, you can just see the vulture eyes like
These
like,
guys are leaving. These guys are leaving.
Yeah. They're like the fucking like Jurassic Park. Like the fucking just looking at it, and they're like, and so the first is like 2 guys, probably like 23-year-old guys or whatever, that were like to our right, and they come over like, you guys leaving? And I was like, yeah, maybe. I was like, okay. He's like, and I was like, how much? He's like, what? I was like, how much for these seats do you want? What's it to you? This dude did not play along at all. He was like, this is like, but not
Did he
even
play dumb or did he get upset about it?
Well, he did the thing that he did this thing. He did like the little jerk off thing, like like that, And then they backed up back to their corner where they were, and then I looked over and I was like, "How much?" And he did a kissy face, but it wasn't like a funny kissy face. He did like an actual like one of those. But I think he was trying to rattle me or something. I don't know. Or he was like, I think he just, I don't know. It was really bizarre, but it's like, we're not on this. Like, I was just kidding, man. And now you're not. Like, it wasn't like he was kidding about it. It was like he was very serious and trying to be like, hey, look all these gay things I'm doing to you. So now you're gay. It's like one of those things.
Right, yeah. I don't know what you think, what message you think you're sending.
Yeah. I was like, I don't, okay. And I told Jordan, I was like, hey, we can't leave. We're not leaving at all. And then we just hung for a second, and I was like, hold on, wait, we can. So I just, honestly, I was like, I looked behind, and I found two girls that had been there the whole day, the whole game, and they were clearly like into the game. So I was like, hey, I get the eyes like, hey, you want this? You want this? You want these? And they were like, they looked at each other like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So then those guys started coming over. They set their drinks down. But then I was like, nah, sorry. It's like these girls. So we just gave them to the fine sportswomen of Boston, let them have the seats, and then did just the most cheeky, the most fulfilling wave I've ever done in my life. Just like, hey, we'll see you later, fellas. Have a good game, like one of those. I just really enjoyed it. Then we went back to the hotel, went to the lobby, found some Indian American who used to be students and are professionals in Boston who are watching the game. Again, another one. Just like, it was like the most, it's like so weird. It's either the bar experience, all the people that are hardcore, then you go to the spot where people are only there watching the game because that's where the T merges, so they can just go there. And sometimes she's like, "Oh, I come here and watch hockey games sometimes or whatever." It's just where I hang out with my friends because it's a free spot for the community. And I was like, I love that. It's so fun. So I hung out with them.
An interesting concept.
Yeah, and had more pizza and drinks. But it was like honestly one of the most fulfilling single serving friend hangs, even though there were several of us there, and watched what was not much of a game. But that's where the sent you guys pictures. Like they were talking about football, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a major champion this year." Just so you know,
I'll be right
back. Yeah, I sent those pictures of the. Obviously, well, I guess I'll put them on for the pod, but there's a couple girls and a guy there, and like they were just really into the game and the experience, and apparently the fantasy football championship that you have bestowed upon the league. It was a big deal. So there's our friend that you got it.
Yeah.
They were like so wild about it. There's the and there's like the other girl taking the picture of it. They were like doing it in the it was like this is so fun. I love this. Boston's so fun. The title belt was a thing too. I did Carry On, and they do not like the world title. Actually, they do. The X-Ray don't. The X-Ray don't like it. Like when I go through in Syracuse, I saw my bag get kicked over to lane 2, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" It's like, "Oh no!" I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun
Something's in there. You're not, no. You should have been like, "Oh, I don't know what, huh?" So do you know what's in your bag?
Dude, the guy goes like, I see him lift it up. He goes, because I put it, I put it in the lid where it's like meshy. I just put it on the top. So like he lifts it up and he just looks at me. He's like, "Is this?" I was like, "It is." Wait, it's what is it? What is it? I can't think of the word. He's like, I was like, "Oh, it's a major fantasy football award." He's like, "Yeah, fantasy football. This is it." Yeah, I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Holy shit, you guys go hard." Oh my god. I was like, "Yeah, we do."
You're right, TSA.
Goes,
I do.
Yeah, we do. We're so hard. And then he goes, he waves somebody over. He's like, "Dude, come here. You got to look at this."
Yes!
Is it one of those? I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
You should have literally told me, like, put it on. I want to send a picture to league.
Oh god.
You should have told TSA, be like, "Yo, put it on. I got to take a picture and send it to the league."
I know. That was still like 5:30 in the morning, so I was like not
totally
there. That woke me up though. I was very inspired by that. It was very cool. But But yeah, to think. So if you guys ever travel with a title belt, they will ask you about it, but hey, it's worth it.
Now,
It'll be all right.
all right. I don't know what Syracuse's protocol is, and all TSA has different protocols, and I'll still never understand that to the day I die. But you should have had the belt on so that you could ask him, like, do we take shoes and belts off? Shoes and belts, and just, like, you're missing out on key interactions.
Shut up! You're killing me,
Damn, I
Smalls.
fucked up. I didn't even think about that. It's like, you just like or yeah, I just worn it and I should have walked through the thing where you do the YMCA, whatever, in there and just fucking.
You're like, what?
What? No.
I
got a chapstick.
Oh,
in my
I do have a.
pocket.
I do. Yeah. With this trigger on this belt buckle, what, sir?
Yeah, you said iPads. This is not, not an iPad.
That's not even close. Well, that's good.
How did you enjoy the Super Bowl? Did you stay at home, or did you guys do like? I know Caitlin's a voracious Eagles fan.
She watched a good amount of the game.
I know that's right. She can't even watch. That's right. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
But she was able to watch like the second half, due to the dominating. But like she did dishes during the first quarter. She went upstairs and like started doing dishes. We had some people
Did y'all have
over.
people over, or was it just two?
Some, not many.
Yeah.
So yeah, just had like Caitlin's family, a couple friends over. I would say sliders were the majority of the food. Burger sliders and ham and cheese sliders. There was some chili. Caitlin's mom made like parfaits, like chocolate and mint Cool Whip parfaits that like to look like Eagles colors.
Dang.
So yeah,
Jeez.
I mean it was good. I placed wagers. My FanDuel wagers were great because I placed like I placed $80 worth of bets and netted $182. So I netted $2 in bets just from a ton of random $5 bets and stuff, and I netted $2. And then I did win my first Super Bowl squares in what literally has to be over a decade.
Dude, fuck yeah. Woo.
I've never won one. Super Bowl squares. So I won the halftime, which I bought three $20 squares, and at halftime I won 500. And then if Xavier Worthy for Kansas City didn't catch the stupid touchdown 30-some seconds before the quarter, I would have won another 250 for the same number. But so I netted positive, certainly. And so that was good. Yeah. I mean, the game was what it was. It was weird to watch Kansas City get brutalized. Cause I don't think we've ever seen it. We've never seen them get mudhole stomped.
Well, Mahomes played so bad too.
It was
like really
it was
weird.
incredible because even to be honest with you, like his stats are even skewed because Xavier Worthy made two very impressive catches that were all receiver making up for bad throws.
Hook 'em horns.
So it was wild. Was Worthy a Texas alum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, very interesting game as far as like the outcome, but yeah, I mean, it's weird though, because when you're an objective fan, like when you're an objective sport fan, you're like, wow, the season's over and the Eagles are champion, and you're just like, okay, like you come down off of that high of the fun and excitement.
You read my mind. You read my mind, dude.
You're just like by Monday, you're like.
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, what's it like to be like, I mean, for us, like, obviously, also when our fantasy season ends or anybody's personal fantasy season ends, it sucks. But then at least you can ride the gambling of the playoffs and shit. And it's like, it definitely is fun coming up. We've talked about it, like the April, the playoff scene stuff. But everything is so random, like in the upcoming like NBA, like NHL playoffs, like starting a baseball, like that shit's so random. It's not like, I guess football fucks you over too gambling wise, but it just feels like you have some kind of control over like the weekly NFL season versus like just a random nights any other game. And listen, I love the NHL playoffs. It's my favorite time of year, but it sucks to not have football to lose money to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
pitchers and catchers are reporting this week for baseball.
What? Oh, are you?
So-
wait, really?
Yeah. By tomorrow, I think every team started reporting. A couple teams reported yesterday. Some teams report today, and I think tomorrow the rest of the teams report. So, dude, there's I think the first spring training game is like February 23rd. So I'm thinking of possibly taking like a quick.
baseball.
I'm thinking of taking a quick. Not thinking. I'm going to take a quick, like, weekend trip down. I think to like the Tampa area and hit a spring training game or two, and then just come back. Just to get some nice weather and see a little bit of baseball, and then go. Okay, that'll just tide me over.
Dude, do you know if because I know obviously I'm gonna be there for the pre-Memorial Day weekend for the Metallica concert. Sorry, the Limp Bizkit concert.
Right.
And so that's like Friday night and Sunday night.
Right.
Do the Phillies play on Saturday? Like
That's a good question.
I'd be in.
May
I'd be into a ball
what?
game.
May. What
24th,
do we got for dates on that?
3rd, 7th. I don't know. It's right in that
It's gotta be
that
the
weekend.
24th.
Or do the Eagles have their spring game?
Nope. The Phillies are wherever the Athletics are playing.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might
bummer.
be Philadelphia. It might be.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It might have to be.
Yeah. So in May, we'll just hope that the Flyers are in like the conference finals, right? That's about maybe.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Flyers could be in the conference finals. I think conference finals would be around that time. It's got to be, yeah. Probably be at the beginning of the conference
Or maybe
finals.
the second round, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Now the fact of the Flyers getting there,
Same with the Bees.
is something to overcome because the Flyers are lined up with the Sabres comfortably in last place in their division.
Yeah.
So unlikely, but I don't know. Yeah. So football's passed, but it's been one of the more, positive, I guess, Raider off seasons. But no reason to put the cart before the horse.
That's
So
right. Who do you guys got now? Who's your
well, it's now
HC?
It's Pete Carroll, young blood.
Mm-hmm.
Young blood coming in as the oldest coach in
The Dumbledore of the
NFL.
NFL.
Yep. So that's good. Chip Kelly, well-known, offensive guru of NFL.
Had coached the Eagles 10 years ago, and
Yep.
then the Oregon Ducks, and then OC for the Buckeyes. He's really
we'll see
working
what-
his way up.
We'll see what that
If
is.
you guys listen, as 40-year-old guys, something like that, you can still have a career later on. You can have a whole new career in your 60s. You don't even know about it. So
True.
don't give up on your dream to
True.
coach the Raiders. Anybody?
Yeah,
out
my
there.
plan. My
You can
plan.
still
Yeah,
do
my
it.
plan is to work in insurance for the next 20 years, and then really start working my way into the NFL coaching ranks. But yeah, so we are heading into the rough part of winter for sure.
Yeah.
This is the thing that's really why I'm trying to plan something for March, because I need something to look forward to on a short-term basis. So that's the goal, is to try to
That'd be good, yeah.
fly down to
that-
Florida for a couple days.
It's a quickie. Yeah. Where do they? Do all teams play in the same stadiums in spring training or something? How does that work?
They play. So there's 2 areas. Basically, like that Central Florida area is one league. That's the Grapefruit League.
Then Arizona,
and then,
is that the other one?
And then Arizona, Phoenix area is the Cactus League. So now it's not by, it's more by East-West geography. So it's not National and American League. So the matchups are weird compared to normal because it's whoever's on the East Coast goes to Florida, whoever's on the West Coast or, near that, Arizona. So you see a lot of interesting matchups. So it's cool because if I went to go see a Yankees game, I could see the Yankees playing like the Brewers in spring training, and they play different. It's not series. So if you do hang around and watch your team for 3 games in 3 days, they'll probably play 3 different teams. So it's just a wild mashup. And, I think the stadiums are probably in the Florida area. The stadiums are all within like 30 miles of each other. But George,
they play like college stadiums, or are they actually just
no?
MLB
They have
owns them
spring
or something
training.
like that?
They have spring training
okay.
stadiums there. Yeah, like Yankees have George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa proper, which ironically because Tropicana is in shambles because of the storm, that the Rays are actually going to play their regular season games. So the Rays are going to play in a stadium that holds like 14,000 people, which is finally appropriate for what the Rays bring in.
And I really hope George Steinbrenner Jr. is charging them. Hank.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they
are.
are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to pay rent here, bitch.
Yep. They are paying rent to the Steinbrenners to use their spring training facility. But it's weird. The more time goes on, the more it looks like Tampa Bay is going to lose their baseball team. And the damage being a big part of it because the city like reneged on like helping them build a stadium, and like everyone and the team keeps calling their bluff, and the mayor just keeps saying like we're fine to move on without having a baseball team. Like we can't like because Tampa as a city needs the money to like they're one of the cities that's kind of starting to put their foot down and being like we have things that need to be paid for. We can't help you pay for a fucking stadium.
Yeah, I get that part. I think it's lame for sports teams to ask the citizens to pay for stadiums because they don't really need to.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
That's how it's the rich getting richer. The Pagulas fucking putting the bill on New York to pay for a stadium when their fracking has earned them like $20 billion is kind of disgusting.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. But it sucks because Tampa Bay, like, they've been there. They've been close several times in the last 20 years, and it's like,
listen, the fans though have gotten a lot of like the Bucks and the Lightning have brought success to Tampa. So you know what? You lose your baseball team and you guys don't even fill the stadiums. It's like you guys don't even give a shit about your baseball team. So I'll be honest with you, and for a lot of those fans, they can kind of fuck off because you have championships otherwise.
Yeah, it's wild that hockey is thriving in Tampa Bay.
In Florida.
I know.
In Florida
and Miami
proper.
Too. Yeah, the
right,
Panthers,
that's what I'm saying.
The best hockey teams are in Florida.
Right, everyone knows that. That's where the heart of hockey is in Florida.
Two things I want to visit with you before we leave. So, one of these things, well, I'll tell you a story. Well, let me do this first. So my ex-girlfriend that is featured in episodes 1 through 5 or 12 or 20, I don't know, that when we're in our catching up, her name's Amanda. Mm-hmm. So she had texted me that she listens to the program now, and she started with episode, I think she was like, I listened to episode 99 to 105 and then went back to 1. She's like, I think that's the way to do it. I was like, oh no, that sucks. It's like, well, we weren't good then. And I was like, oh, we're great now. But yeah, it's like the prequels. But
prepare to get disappointed.
I was like, oh, it's fucking weird, kind of, because like, not weird, but it's weird that I was very vulnerable about who I am and how much of a shit I was at certain times or whatever. I mean, whatever. I'm fucking a growing boy. But it was kind of fun to we kind of had like a night of a conversation about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. She's doing well. She has a new baby,
Oh,
who looks
like
a
a
lot like her.
child.
Yes, a child. She brought a child into this world. But it's fun. So we had a catch up, and then I was just kind of talking about how awkward it was to talk about that shit about like our relationship, and I don't know. But then I brought up the idea of like, because she was like, "Oh my god!" Like every time like you guys are talking about something, I'm like, I was like, God, I wish I could like respond to it or something like that. And I was like, well,
Oh
maybe you
yeah.
could.
Oh,
Maybe
do
you
you?
could. Yeah. So I was like, no, I mean, whatever. Obviously, wouldn't. But would you have an interest in ever like doing this thing? And like, I don't know. Like, we barely talk about. I don't know. Should we ever like? Would you want to be on the show and like not to dissect, but just like go over like whatever? I don't know. We could do it. Like, and she's like, yeah, I'd be into that. I was like, okay. So like, I don't know. That's something to think about. Is it worth having my ex girlfriend from 15 years ago? The reason I moved to Texas, and kind of, I don't know. I didn't do good.
Well, I mean,
Wasn't very good at it.
certainly Amanda and I have so much catching up to do
I know.
from like the one time we hung out at Swabby's. Yeah.
So that's in the cards. So maybe I know we're talking about ideas of guests, but I feel like pulling an ex-girlfriend that you lived with could be. Yeah, okay. It's like one of those.
All right. I obviously am fine with it. That being said, I feel like we'd really be like showing our hand at that point. I feel like that's one we need to keep in our back pocket. Like we need to make this gradual. Like we can't go from our first guest to let's bring on ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like that's really taking it up a notch.
Yeah. Yeah. But putting it out there, I'm interested in the idea, and then the more I think about it, it's like, wow, this could be crazy, but also fun because I don't know. Even in terms of our like back and forth over the decade plus, it's like kind of how do you have a relationship with somebody who's an ex, and do you? And most people don't, and I don't know if you should, but we've kept up here and there. I don't know why, but I'm sure she has a response to it. That's all I know. So, and lastly, I'd like to wrap up with a story that I don't know if it's a legal problem for me. I don't think it is. But the
Always a
police
good
were involved.
start.
It was at Prison City, and this happened like before I went to Boston. This happened like a couple days after we recorded our last show. And just a weird thing that happened, and I don't think it's not like a legal thing per se, but it was a okay. So I'm at the bar. It's a slow night. I'm talking to this guy, Asian American, or maybe Asian. I forgot his story, but he's wearing a Bills hat. He loves the Bills. Apparently, he's visiting. He doesn't live here, or he's currently here, but working for somebody. I don't think this is his permanent home. We're having a good time. And this guy comes in, tall guy. I would say I don't even remember what he looks like. Probably like a blonde-haired. What's the guy? I don't know. He's tall. He's probably like 6'2", 6'3". Comes in hot, like kind of like the old guy blonde hair that's like sort of like the California style, like long, just like pushed back to a couple side, He's just like very aggro, just like gets really into the bar, like wants to talk to everybody. Comes in, orders, I don't know, like a Woodford Reserve shot or a drink. Drinks it like a shot right away. Orders another one, just drinks it right away within minutes. I'm like, holy fuck, I thought you were already drunk. Not drunk, but I thought you were already like coming in like buzzing. I didn't think he was drunk legally. So it's like, what's happening? And then he starts to get like belligerent. Because he's talking to my new Asian friend and talking to us and the bartender, and he's like very loud. It's not making a lot of sense and being very annoying. And the more like it's weird because when you talk to somebody and you're not vibing with them when they're drunk, like super. I mean, he's I would call him right now at a brownout. When you're like he's not there, but not totally. So, but people, if you don't respond to somebody like that, sometimes they get angry because they're
Exactly. I was gonna say
Yeah.
sometimes you have to respond in some context to keep it at bay.
yeah. Because then they think like, I'm not the problem, you're the problem. Like
Right?
one of
You
those
think you're
things,
better
like,
than me?
I'm not drunk at all. Like one of those guys.
At
And it got to
all.
the oh yeah, at all.
I'm not drunk at all.
At all. Yeah. And so like it's like getting into your face kind of shit, and then eventually like the bartender there, cool dude, fairly new at bartending, but solid guy, just good personality, very chill dude. I like him. But he was like, he was like, hey, just leave him alone. Like those guys, like for me and for my new friend there. And then the guy gets really mad at him or something. It's like, what am I? I can't remember. But the vibe was like, am I drunk? Like you can't tell me. It's like he was being such an asshole and so belligerent. And I appreciate him saying like, leave these guys alone, because I don't think he's not a guy of confrontation by nature. This guy, he's just like a chill dude, probably a stoner. I don't know, like very cool, like just not into any of this shit at all. He's like, fuck, it's like a Wednesday night. It should not be happening. like it should be closing now. It's snowing outside. There's not many people in the restaurant. But you can tell people are kind of like, whatever's going on.
People are starting to notice.
Yeah, and I was like, this sucks for him to have to do that. And I was like, I should get involved in this, like more. And so, I think it was like, I don't know if he offered, it was like, I don't know how it went. It's like, we should close this guy out. Maybe he's like, we should close this guy out. And it's like, yeah, you should close out. And it's like, I got his card and his bill, and somebody signed it. Somebody signed his bill with a generous tip to the bar. And then he was still hanging around. Then his wallet and sunglasses were there. I don't know if he had sunglasses, but he still kept like, it kept getting more and more like weird and like in people's spaces, and nobody wanted him there. So I was like, I know what I'll do. I'm going to attract him like a zombie. So I grabbed his wallet and his sunglasses from the bar, and I just started like doing this. And I was literally walking back, or like walking towards the door. And I was like, we got to get him out of here, because I already paid. And I was like, got to get out. So he didn't notice at first, but then as soon as I start walking out the door, he starts following me. Then he follows me out the door. Like we go out, take a right, then around a corner, and it's like snowing pretty well. So I was like, and I set his stuff on the edge of like one of those, like a city trash can where it's like an empty hole in the middle, but it's like sort of like metal, like around the outside. I set it on the edge of it, and I was like, here's your stuff. And he says something like, why are you doing this? You fucking piece of shit. Like, you fucking asshole. And I was like, you're being an asshole. It's like, you fucking whatever. And I was like, and I was just mad. And I was just like, I just flicked his sunglasses and his wallet into the trash can. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen now. I was like, this is fucking awesome. So then I started just kind of backing up, and he starts zombie chasing me. And like, just like big, like he barely, the guy is like drunk. And I'm like, I didn't even know it was going to happen. I was like, I was like, I'll go. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to fight. But I was like, he's not going to catch me. He can't. So I was like, my mind was like, I'm just going to go far enough, because there's like a back door to the bar. I'm just going to go into it from that way. But as he's coming, so he's like, I'm just sort of like backing up, doing like the little, one of these things. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden he just fucking, boom, takes a step, falls flat back on his back, like taking a bump in wrestling. Out cold in the snow, just falls. And I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like, oh, no. And he's just out. Now, so I go into the door, and I was like, what the fuck's happening? And as soon as that happened, people are already calling 911. Like, so the police show up.
They must have watched what happened.
Yeah, well, they're probably watching the whole time. I was like, yeah, I fucking knocked him out. I did. I mean, I didn't, but no. But it was like, he knocked himself out. And I was like, this is fucking hilarious. I mean, I was like cheesing on it. I was like, this guy's a fucking retard. Sorry. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
And and mentally slow. I can say that, and drunk. And he was passed out cold, like literally cold, like on the concrete. And so everybody's panicking in there, and I'm like, that guy's a jerk. Like I don't care. Like, and I was like, oh God. And I was like, is he dead? Like, it's not my fault. I didn't touch him. And so yeah, we got lights coming all around, and like everybody's showing up. And then he's like, I think he's getting up, and he's sort of being an asshole to the police, like as he's getting up, and like I couldn't tell, but then I was like, oh fuck, I don't know what to do. And we were kind of like conversing, but they were sort of like, hey, there was an acknowledgement. Hey, thanks for doing that, getting him out of here. And I was like, yeah, you got it. And I was like, did I? That wasn't right. Probably I probably didn't do the right thing. But when the cops were out there and they were like starting to get him up, I had to go out because there was a cop standing next to that trash can, and I was like, I'm gonna go do the right thing. So I went out there and I got his. I was like, hey, his wallet and his glasses are in the trash can. I grabbed him. I was like, how did those end up there? And I was like, I put him in there.
He was being rude, and I put them there.
They say, why did you do that? And I was like, he was being a real asshole inside there, and to everybody. He's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, all right, here. So you just took it. He's like, yeah, I get it. He's like, all right, good. And I went back inside. And then the people rejoiced, and it was just a very weird thing to have happened. And I think he's from out of town, and I don't know, like, I don't know who that guy is. I hope I never run into him again. I don't think he would ever remember it, but it was like
time
very
did
bizarre.
this transpire? You said Wednesday, but what time of night?
Like 8:00.
Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird and early.
Yeah. Like well before like food would have been done and anything like that. Like he clearly came from somewhere else where he had probably been drinking maybe a little bit, but then he just took those two like rapid like whiskey shots and then just turned. I mean, he's probably just a shitty person in general. I would guess, but anyways, it was a wild story. I haven't been back there yet. I don't know if I'm going to give it a time. I don't want to be back to the scene of the weird, like as it were. But I don't know. I don't know. Is that wrong? I don't know. What do you think? Is that like? I probably shouldn't even have gotten involved. I don't know why. I don't know what made me be like, this guy's being such a tool. I'm gonna just try to lure him out here. And I don't know why I kicked his or pushed his shit into the trash. Because he's being an asshole again. I don't know. It was just like little, like, kept adding up and adding up.
I mean,
and then I was like,
I don't see anything wrong with that. It's.
I mean, the cops didn't either, so they were like,
no, it's.
But
act like that's the kind of the stuff that those people need. It's like I've been that guy that probably deserved that, and it just didn't happen to me. But like, if I found out that happened because I walked into a place and was an asshole to people, and so they treated me like a fool, yeah, that's on me. Like, whatever. That's a life lesson. Like, don't do that. It's not like you messed with a guy who was drunk, but just not bothering anyone. That would make you a piece of shit, and I would think very differently of you. Like if you were just messing with a guy that you saw was drunk, but he wasn't disturbing anything, but you just wanted to fuck around for someone else's amusement with just someone who's drunk. But if he's a problem and that's why you did what you did, then it's all bets are off. Absolutely.
I generally feel bad for him, kind of, I think. Like,
no.
I don't know how hard he hit his head, but no, good.
Nope.
All right, yeah, me neither.
Nope.
I don't either. Good.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to feel.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't have to feel bad for him. Listen, if he wants to change his ways, that's fine. But it's simply, listen, you dick around and you bother other people and ruin other people's nights and actually make people like worried that fights are going to break out. Like you worry that it's going to become physical and stuff like that. Well, then guess what? You forget that when you're drunk, there are still repercussions. Like it's not feeling bad. Like think of it as like someone gets like a DWI. It's like, yeah, that's unfortunate. And like you feel bad that though it's not like, oh, they didn't deserve a DWI. Well, no, if the numbers are there, then the numbers are there, and you did wrong. It's a shame that it happened, and you can hope that they turn their act around so that they don't get another DWI and stuff. But the fact that he did something to someone else, many someone else's, and then got a lesson out of it. And technically didn't, because the one thing you didn't do is knock him over and do the physical part. That was going to happen one way or another. And he got his stuff back out of the trash. Your only questionable move would have been throwing the shit in the trash, but then your conscience got the better of you and you got it back out. So all the rest of
I could have left it there. I could have left
all
there.
The rest of that shit's on him.
It.
Right. Exactly. So
it's mostly helping the police. It's like, let's give them an ID so they can figure out who this dude is.
The theory is I think in the moment it sounds like your idea was, I'm going to throw this shit in the trash. He's seeing me throw it in the trash, and he's going to have to dig it out, and that's humiliating. Like
he went right by it.
But that's the right. So you're like, shit. I actually would have gotten more satisfaction if he did get the shit out of the trash. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I wanted. Yeah.
I didn't want you to not have your wallet. I wanted you to have to pick through trash to get your wallet.
You get me. You get it.
Right. Yeah. I need the right amount of revenge.
Yeah. I didn't want him to get hurt. I wanted him to get humiliated.
Right. I don't want you to crack your head open when you fall backwards. I want your pants to fall down and then you trip and fall and your butt's hanging out for the entire restaurant to see. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. But now he's probably got a $10,000 bill from the ambulance, so good.
What a rascal.
Fuck him. Yeah.
Oops.
Ain't
gonna be able to afford that Woodford Reserve. Not on that.
I know. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. It's time to take a time out. Or not. Just don't come into my bar anymore.
See?
I probably won't go there for a minute. I don't want to be the...
Yeah, you will. Who cares? Why?
I'm gonna give it...
All right. Give it a couple weeks.
Yeah. That's
Give it a couple weeks. Maybe in the meantime, you could go to a bar you've never been to in Auburn, and that'll give you a reason to broaden your horizons. Perhaps, maybe you should go to Harley's.
No. See, if I would have... I would die there.
No, you wouldn't. Just go at the right time. Go during the after work crowd. Yeah. Say hey to my Uncle Mike for me. He'll be down there.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He's retired.
I've definitely been that.
I was gonna say,
it's fine. It's a fine bar.
If there's a motorcycle out front or a Toyota Tacoma truck and a guy who looks remarkably like my dad, then that's my Uncle Mike. Tell him I sent you.
Really? I've been there for karaoke, darts, pool. They're fine. A little divey. It's fun. Then there's an old lady there that loves hitting on young dudes. I'm not a young dude, but I'm younger than her, and she
that
wants to
counts.
talk. Yeah, it does count. All right.
Perfect.
Fuck, we've made it. The lives we lead. Everybody be well. Let's get through let's get through this winter. The dog days of winter. They're coming. We're gonna need each other. KNEAD.
KNED. What?
We're gonna
need each other. Oh.
To warm up for the winter.
And that's what people do in that hotel you stayed in. Just a bunch of dudes needing each other.